This is Ashley Gosweiler for PAD 747, introducing the annotated bibliography. The topic of this paper is the effects of computer technology and internet use on work productivity. The first article being discussed is called Factors Explaining Faculty Technology Use and Productivity. This article came from the Internet and Higher Education Journal. Essentially, this article discusses a statistical study that was done for faculty members in research institutions to determine whether or not email and internet use increased or decreased their productivity in their field. The article suggests that the findings were that since teachers are already seen as productive members of society, they were more likely to increase their productivity when it came to internet use. They utilized the internet in a way that made them more productive. So essentially, this article is suggesting that it kind of depends on the type of person you are as to whether or not the internet's going to affect you positively or negatively. It's definitely going to be interesting to see whether or not a person who already isn't a productive member of society, if the internet would make them more or less productive. As far as how this article will be used in the paper, it will be in the positive side of the internet and how it's used productively. This article was peer-reviewed as suggested on the journal article's initial website, as well as my contacting Lori Dringus, who is a PhD at the graduate school. She received a phone call from me and confirmed the fact that this was indeed peer-reviewed. The second article being discussed is called The Effects of Excessive Internet Use on Undergraduate Students in Pakistan. This came from the Cyber Psychology and Behavior Journal. This article basically discusses the differences between a healthy internet use and misuse of undergraduate students using the internet. Most of the findings suggested that there is going to be a decrease in productivity with excessive amounts of internet use, obviously. While this article doesn't exactly pertain to the research being done, it does go inside and show that if there's excessive internet use, there's going to be a decrease in productivity. While these are students and it's focused more on the productivity of their studying and their schoolwork, it still gives you an insight as to how adults in the workforce are going to react as well. However, they did measure the fact that healthy internet use resulted in enhancements of one productivity when they were utilizing the internet for research, extra knowledge, checking things over, looking things up. They were more likely, obviously, to increase their productivity than if they were on social networking sites for hours on end. It also discusses other problems such as physical and psychological problems that excessive internet use has. So this article basically is for more the side of internet use having negative effects on work productivity, but it not only goes over productivity, it gives you more of an insight as to what other problems might be caused from excessive internet use, which is also extremely important to keep in mind. That article was only single-blinded as of now. As far as peer-reviewed, it suggested peer review on its website. However, I've emailed the author of this article and am waiting for their response. Third article being discussed is called The Role of Computers in Reshaping the Workforce. This is from the Monthly Labor Review journal. This article basically discusses the change that computers have had on society as a whole. It begins with the Industrial Revolution and how people moved from farms to the cities for more work. It basically gives the same kind of outline when it comes to computers being introduced. This article takes the stance that computers have solely increased work productivity. One of the examples that will be discussed that's pertinent to the paper was in manufacturing. It made the internet, the computer technology in general made workflow smoother. It allows for fast and easy communication, which is extremely important when you're manufacturing goods. It essentially led to an increase in work productivity for several different reasons that will be discussed in the paper. Fragmented work was replaced with integrated work. It also led to a higher skill force. If you're experienced with computers, you're more likely to have more knowledge than someone who isn't, which leads to more flexibility and more skill in the workforce. It also discusses the response methods. If there's an inquiry, how fast and quickly response methods could be used with email and the internet and computer technology. It goes over several different explanations that will be used as a stance in the paper for the positive side of internet. And that's it. This website shows that it is double-blind. It goes over all of the criteria. It goes over the first step in the double-blind process of submitting an article is the review and solicitation of comments from peers, and then after that, the submission of the comments for the article, and then the decision whether or not to publish the article. Looking forward to more research on these topics, trying to establish coverage for both sides and why. Essentially, so far, I've found that when it comes to the internet, there happens to be a lot less work productivity. When it comes to students, there seems to be less work productivity with internet. But going to do more research and see where it takes me. Thank you.